Performance management in not-for-profit organizations. Performance management in not-for-profit organizations. What is a NFP organization? Problems associated with performance measurement in NFP organizations. The use of league tables, benchmarking, and targets in the public sector. NFP organizations display the following characteristics. Most do not have external shareholders, and hence the maximization of shareholder wealth is not the primary objective. They do not distribute dividends. Problems associated with performance management in NFP organizations. Problem 1. Non-quantifiable costs and benefits. Many of the benefits arising from expenditure by these bodies are non-quantifiable in monetary terms. The same can be true of costs. This is because no readily available scale exists. How to trade off cost and benefits measured in a different way. For example, suppose funds in a hospital are reallocated to reduce waiting lists, a benefit, but at the expense of the quality of patient care, a cost. Is the time saved enough to compensate for any potential additional suffering? Timescale problems. Externalities. Suppose a council decides to grant planning permission for new houses to be built. The new residents will increase the number of cars on local roads, resulting in greater congestion and pollution, affecting other residents. Solution is equal to cost-benefit analysis, CBA. Some NFP organizations, particularly in the public sector, attempt to resolve the above difficulties by quantifying in financial terms all of the costs and benefits associated with a decision. Solution is equal to use non-financial performance indicators, NFPIs. In addition to using CBA, the problem of non-quantifiable costs and benefits may also be addressed through the establishment of relevant NFPIs. Problem 2. Assessing the use of funds. The funding in public sector organizations tends to come directly from the government. The government will be keen to ensure that the funding is put to the best use. However, it can be difficult to assess whether or not this is the case. Solution: assess value for money. Value for money, VFM, is often quoted as an objective in NFP organizations. That is, have they gained the best value from the limited funds available? VFM can be assessed in a number of ways. By the analysis of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness, the 3 E's. This is the standard and most useful criteria for assessing value for money. By using appropriate performance indicators or measures. By conducting VFM studies, possibly in conjunction with other institutions, or through internal VFM audit work. Using performance measures to assess VFM. When assessing VFM using performance measures, it is important to tailor your choice of indicators to the scenario given. Focusing on the most relevant measures, for example, Measures relating to the organization's mission or objectives. If solely financial measures are used, positive progress will be seen only in terms of these measures. For example, cost reduction. NFPs are often important in capturing aspects of the organization's mission, which are fundamentally non-financial and subjective. Once you have calculated the relevant measures, you must be prepared to discuss the performance management response to each measure. Statements of which indicator have gone up or gone down will not be adequate in the exam. Example: Maple Council is concerned about the performance of Town End School, one of the schools within its jurisdiction, and in order to substantiate this concern, the Council's Education Department has collected the following information regarding the last 2 years. School roll number of pupils for 2017, 502. For 2018, 584. Number of teaching staff for 2017, 22. For 2018, 21. Number of support staff for 2017, 6. For 2018, 6. Number of classes for 2017, 20. For 2018, 20. Possible teaching days in a year. For 2017, 290. For 2018, 290. Actual teaching days in a year. For 2017, 279. For 2018, 282. Total pupil absences in pupil teaching days. For 2017, 2,259. For 2018, 3,066. Total teaching staff absences in pupil teaching days. For 2017, 132. For 2018, 189. Budgeted expenditure. For 2017, $2,400,000. For 2018, $2,600,000. Actual expenditure in 2017, $2,200,000. In 2018, $2,900,000. The data has been sent to the Council's Finance Department, in which you work, for analysis. Required: calculate relevant performance measures for Town End School for each of the last 2 years. Based on your calculations, analyze the school's performance in terms of value for money, and explain the possible management responses to your findings. Answer: Measure 1. Possible pupil teaching days, school roll multiply by possible teaching days in the year. For 2017, 145,580. For 2018, 169,360. Actual pupil teaching days. School roll multiply by actual teaching days in the year. For 2017, 140,058. For 2018, 164,688. Actual to possible teaching days as a percentage. For 2017, 96.2%. For 2018, 97.2%. Measure 2. Pupils' absences as a percentage of total actual teaching days. For 2017, 2,259 divided by 140,058 is equal to 1.6%. For 2018, 3,066 divided by 164,688 is equal to 1.9%. Measure 3. Staff absences as a percentage of total actual teaching days. For 2017, 132 divided by 140,058 is equal to 0.1%. For 2018, 189 divided by 164,688 is equal to 0.1%. Measure 4. Pupil-teacher ratio. For 2017, 502:22 is equal to 22.8:1. For 2018, 584:21 is equal to 27.8:1. Measure 5. Pupil to non-teaching staff ratio. For 2017, 502:6 is equal to 83.7:1. For 2018, 584:6 is equal to 97.3:1. Measure 6. Average class size. School roll divided by number of classes. For 2017, 502 divided by 20 is equal to 25.1. For 2018, 584 divided by 20 is equal to 29.2. For measure 7. Budgeted expenditure per pupil. For 2017, 2,400,000 divided by 502 is equal to $4,781. For 2018, 2,600,000 divided by 584 is equal to $4,452. Actual expenditure per pupil. For 2017, 2,200,000 divided by 502 is equal to $4,382. For 2018, 2,900,000 divided by 584 is equal to $4,966. Comments. Overall, it is not really possible to arrive at a firm conclusion about the school's performance. This is partly due to a lack of data from the school and partly because of a lack of data from other schools against which to compare it. Value for money and the 3 E's. Value for money is interpreted as providing an economic, efficient, and effective service. Appropriate performance indicators should be chosen for each E. Economy, efficiency, effectiveness. Problem 3. Multiple and diverse objectives. Diverse objectives. As mentioned, NFP organizations won't have an objective of maximization of shareholder wealth. Instead, they are seeking to satisfy the particular needs of their members or sections of society, which they have been set up to benefit. Multiple objectives. Multiple stakeholders in NFP organizations give rise to multiple objectives. This can be problematic when assessing the performance of these organizations. Solution is equal to prioritize and compromise. The problem of multiple and diverse objectives can be overcome by prioritizing objectives or making compromises between objectives.